Hello and welcome to another episode of PsycKicks. My name is Liv. This is M. M, say hi.
Yo.
Do you have a fun fact for us today? The
No.
depths of M's brain. Oh, they're blank today.
Yeah.
Damn. Do I have a fun fact? Sometimes alligators eat turtles. Did you know that?
Yes.
I would not. If I saw something like that, I would be like, I'm not going to eat that. It's inside of a rock. They just don't care.
Have you seen an alligator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why they're so angry?
I don't know.
Because they don't have a toothbrush to brush all those teeth. Anyways, it's a nice Waterboy reference for you to start your Sunday. Today, we are going to be talking about frequently asked questions that I have that I've learned about in my email readings. I've been doing a lot of them, and everyone has very good questions. So I've put together a couple of them just to talk about with all of you and get M's insight on it as well, because I thought it would be a fun thing to do. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. PSA, if you guys are new to the show, Em and I are psychic mediums, so this is just our experience as professional psychic mediums and the insight we've gained over the last 3.5, almost 4 years of having met a psychic. So that's where our answers come from. Without further ado, the first question is, what do I have to do to find a romantic partner? Because I feel like I will never meet them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say for that? Because I know it's a question that we get not just in email readings, but in normal readings too.
Well, it depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, I don't know, I saw a TikTok once and they were like, in order for you to find the perfect partner, you have to become the perfect partner and you will attract the things that you become.
Mm-hmm. It's a very good thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sums it up pretty well. It's just that a lot of people ask, like, what do I need to do to find my perfect person? And some people have told me, they're like, I was told that I need to do this love potion ritual to attract this person that I really want. Or I need to go out to this certain place because this person thinks that I'm going to meet a person at this exact location. And it's just like, maybe that helps. But the biggest answer, like Em said, is do the things that you want to do in order to become the person you are or you want to be, because that is what is ultimately going to have the universe put that person in your path. Because if you go off on a side quest, you're probably going to miss the person that you're meant to be with because you're going to be looking somewhere else when in all reality, you just got to be focusing on yourself, my guy. Because as the Lord and Savior RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love someone else?
Well, I don't think you necessarily need to love yourself, but you need to focus on yourself, not focus on finding someone else.
But that's going to lead you to love, whether it's with someone else or yourself.
Mm.
All right, question number 2. Do I have psychic abilities, or is my perceived clairvoyant capabilities just my mind playing tricks on me? Or am I just paranoid? The person who wrote this question was really funny. They were very introspective. I just want to know if I'm crazy or if I'm both. I don't know. Here's a story. It was just very funny. I appreciated them.
Yeah, everyone has psychic abilities. I believe everyone is a psychic medium because a lot of your information is coming from spirit. But your abilities are based upon the way in which you think or process information. So the 6 psychic clairs are usually based upon the 5 physical senses that we have as human beings, and the last one is just pure thought. So how you use those 6 clairs is the same way of how you use it in an everyday basis. So ask yourself questions of, why or how do I specifically learn? Am I a visual learner? Am I a tactile learner? And that will give you more information about what your psychic abilities are.
Answered this with that. You might not think this. The answer is most likely yes to both. You are having perceived psychic clairvoyant capabilities or other associated clairs, and you might just be a little bit paranoid, So now you do have clairvoyant capabilities or even other psychic abilities, like Em said. But if you're new to the podcast, Em explained how even if you're not a psychic or a medium, you still are able to have these psychic abilities. They're intrinsic to you, just like your 5 physical senses. But because you may be experiencing actual clairvoyant or clairsentient, claircognizant, whatever clair abilities, your mind might be playing tricks on you as well. Because once you have these perceptive, like if you feel like you're perceiving figures out of your peripheral vision, smelling things that make you think back to a certain person or place or memory, or feel like someone's standing near you, there's a good chance that you're not only clairvoyant, but have other psychic abilities as well. But because of these metaphysical instances, it can cause your mind to create more visual or auditory, etc. experiences if you're unnerved by what you're perceiving. So if you get freaked out by it, your brain can manifest those things. So I'm saying, yes, you can have these metaphysical psychic instances, but it could also freak you out, which makes you have things that aren't actually real, because I've experienced that for sure. However, the way I'm able to decipher my own thoughts from the metaphysical ones is by noticing any additional accessory clairsenses that I perceive, in addition to the thoughts or daydream like mental visions or peripheral sights or smells that I believe are metaphysical that I'm perceiving. I have noticed that if I'm seeing something that is not metaphysical, such as like a shadow figure out of the corner of my eye, something like that, I won't receive anything more than my own visual information or personal thoughts on it. Like, oh man, that was freaky. I didn't like that very much. Is that real? However, if what I'm seeing is metaphysically fueled, such as smelling someone or feeling someone standing next to me, I'll not just be able to see something out of my peripheral vision or feel them. I will smell, taste, feel, and know other aspects about what has caught my eye or my mind, if you will, my senses. And that signals to me that the vision or whatever it is that I'm perceiving is indeed metaphysically fueled. Do you have certain ways that you discern whether you're seeing something or if your mind is playing tricks on you?
Well, it's different for each person based upon how your clairs work, but usually I tell people there's a different dialect that's going on in your head. And it doesn't have to be an auditory dialect. It's just the way you think is different than the way that spirit gives to you. So the way I like to explain it is if you're trying to solve a math problem, for example, spirit intuitively is going to just give you the answer, whereas if it's you thinking, you're going to try to figure out the answer by doing your work. That's two different ways of thinking so that you can differentiate the dialect between the two.
And that's how it works for you.
That's partially. They also have a different feeling when they come in.
Mm.
But that would be determined on if you have clairsentience.
Excellente. Next question. And this one's a little more like abstract, but it is, why do I feel as if I don't fit in? Have you ever gotten that question?
I mean, I haven't gotten that question. I've just told people they've felt like a misfit.
Mm.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why is because the society expects you to be a certain person.
Mm.
And most people don't fit the mold. So they just feel like an outcast.
Mm. I understand. I got a different answer one time for this. Well, I've only gotten this answer or this question once, which is why I wrote it down, because I thought it was interesting what spirit had to share, specifically this person's spirit guides, as into why they might not feel like they fit in. So the answer that I got from their spirit guides during their email reading was, no matter how you may feel, you do have a place in this world and are meant to fit in even in the most seemingly obscure of places, like an intricate puzzle piece. On a spiritual level, your sense of displacement can be impacted by your soul's past lives. Among your soul's human and earthly lives, your souls may have also existed as non-human energies as well. These can include animals as well as energetic beings of different spiritual dimensions. Now, that is not to say that because of your past lives, you do not belong here. For whatever reason, your soul has agreed to incarnate into the human life you're living right now. Not only because your existence is intrinsic and integral to the other many lives around you as well, but because if you were supposed to not be experiencing the human existence, then you would not have incarnated as such. It is your current soul's purpose to live and learn from this life in order to achieve a higher spiritual consciousness or enlightenment. And I was like, boom! It just blew my mind, because I was thinking along the same lines as you. It was like, oh, well, society has this and that and blah, blah, blah. But their spirit guides were like, listen, you got past lives as things that aren't human. So if everything that your soul feels drawn to or can relate to is something that isn't what your current existence is, it can make you feel really funky. But just because that's the case, or could be the case, doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be here living the life that you are. Because at some point, spiritually, whatever you want to call it, your current life has a purpose and you're supposed to be living this existence. And I thought that was really beautiful because it was not something I would have thought about. All right, next question is, and I get this one a lot, and it kind of makes me angry. It's one of my pet peeve things, but it is, am I on the right path? You have an answer for that? You know, it's like my soapbox.
What I usually tell people now that I've figured out different ideas surrounding people's souls is, well, I don't think you can not be on your right path, but what I like to tell people specifically is your soul usually determines what you are doing in your life. So the like energy of your soul will determine things that you are drawn to. So if you are a soul that deals with like death, like me, you will be drawn to causing big change. So you will be more drawn to things that change the perception of people around you. So for me, because I'm a death soul, I am drawn to doing things like this that changes people's ideas surrounding not only the metaphysical, but how they think on their everyday lives. So my soul generally does things in similarity to that sort of thing. But you also have to put into play the idea of parallel universes in the sense of you can't make the wrong choice because you're making all of the choices. So you are most likely going to fall in line with the things that you're most in line with, but don't put so much pressure on yourself of making the wrong choice because you are technically making all of them in every parallel universe of do you take the job or do you not take the job sort of aspect.
So you put your soul's theme into it.
Well, I don't think you have a choice because, I don't know, people talk about soul contracts. Your soul contract isn't something that you intentionally write up and are like, I'm going to experience these things. It's a naturally occurring thing, just like incarnation is a naturally occurring thing. And it happens within your soul and what karmatic imbalances it has. So your soul is going to generally fall in line to the things that it aligns with, which is why it happens naturally and also why you have specific guides to help push you in those directions.
I like that answer. I had a specific human soul answer this one for me, as well as a spirit guide. They kind of walked together for this person to answer the question. So what they had me write is that in response to, am I on the right path? The human soul and this person's spirit guide said, always. There is no right or wrong answer. Life is all about the direction and converging pathways and opportunities that you have the option to cross and or pursue. Any movement in a new direction, especially one which you believe will better yourself, is always a good decision. It is also important to remember that making a decision to move in one direction may not open up a new single opportunity, but may open up multiple new opportunities which may or may not be related to the new direction you were originally traveling. Either way, it is important to understand that there is no right or wrong new direction or decision because one new path may diverge into many multifaceted opportunities. And this was specific because the person that asked this question asked it in relation to a job. They're like, should I take this job opportunity? And if so, like, what is going to happen? Because they were thinking about it in a very singular mindset. So their past loved one and their spirit guide, who was a super sassy pink female spirit guide, stepped forward and was like, listen, it's not just one thing. It's a lot of things. So it was just really cute. I appreciated it. Next question was, what soul contracts do I have? Yes, we answered this in, I think it was a YouTube video where we did Instagram Q&As, but we were going to talk about soul contracts, but we got a whole bunch of people asking us about like contracts that their soul is like entered in, not their like life path type thing that they decided to choose to incarnate to experience. So the person that asked this question asked it in the like, did I sell my soul to the devil type thing? Yeah. And I was like, and it's the only time I've gotten it in an email reading so far, which is good. But I was asked this question not as why was the person living their life they are now or reasons why their soul chose to incarnate, which by the way, I can't answer, but as in what kind of contracts with other spiritual beings or entities does their soul have?
Well, no, I think they're talking about how people with soul contracts and the idea of soul contracts, people also say that you have contracts to meet certain people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So your soul contracts connect. Not that they're selling their soul to demons.
They just asked it in like, what soul contract do I have? And I was like, that's a very broad question. So I answered it that it is in my current opinion that the only soul contract that people can have is one that we make with creator, source, God, whatever you'd like to call them, when our soul decides to incarnate or reincarnate, whatever you believe in. And like I said, this is not something that I can answer as a psychic medium. The answer is like asking what your life's purpose is, which also cannot be answered because your life's purpose is no one single thing. It is incomprehensibly dynamic, painful, beautiful, tragic, and hopeful, and I don't believe that this information can be given to any medium, at least not as a whole. So I was like, sorry, I can't answer your question.
I don't know. That goes back into the what is your purpose sort of thing. So I would just tell them what their soul normally does. Like someone asked me that the other day and I was like, your soul changes the perceptions of what people think about stuff. You challenge people. So whatever you do, you're going to inherently do it. Because they were like, should I do this? What's my soul's purpose? And I'm like, you're going to do it regardless because that's what your soul does. You change things, and that's what you're going to do regardless of what your profession is, regardless of your decisions. You are doing this thing.
So you tell people what their primordial soul theme is.
I tell them what their spirit guides say that their soul does, especially in the life they're living now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Next question. And this one I've gotten a lot and answered in many different ways, depending on how the person asked it. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. The way I watered it down for the podcast is to be a little bit more general, but I've gotten this question in a lot of different ways and varieties. But it is, I understand I have psychic abilities or may even be a medium. Others have told me that because of this, I should pursue spirituality professionally. What do you think? What would you tell someone if they told you that or asked you that?
Well, it depends on the person. So I would ask their spirit guides why they want to do that, and then I would explain why they feel drawn towards it. But I don't know, it's still your choice. You're going to do it regardless of if you do it as a profession, if you're supposed to do it.
Exactly. That's what I had people tell me too, like spirits, spirit guides. So I wrote, if you feel drawn towards expanding your spirituality, go for it. Many people ask if they are meant to be a psychic or a medium and use their gifts, but they seem to ask this in the intention of making it a source of their income, even believing they have to devote a large amount of their time for others, specifically as a psychic or medium. However, everyone has psychic abilities and they are unique and individualistic to you. Having these abilities is no different than having and using your 5 regular physical senses to accomplish various tasks in your life. For example, one person may be a gifted singer or musician, but that does not mean that they have to become a famous performer. Your psychic abilities are the same. You can choose to do whatever you please with them, but you do not have to make your personal or professional life revolve around them unless you truly want to. For example, I spoke to a woman during a private reading a few weeks back, and she is a nurse by trade. However, she does have mediumship abilities. Because of her mediumship abilities, other psychics and people have told her that she should pursue mediumship as a career. However, she is an exemplary nurse, and without really noticing it, she uses her psychic abilities and mediumship in her everyday life as a nurse. This makes her an exceptional nurse, able to care for her patients and their families in ways that other nurses cannot. As a medium, it's our responsibility to bring peace and clarity to others, but this can be done in a variety of different ways. If you're a medium or have psychic ability, that does not mean that you have to use those abilities for others as your sole purpose in life. Each person is given these gifts to accentuate the multifaceted aspects of their life's purpose. If you feel spirituality is your calling, by all means pursue it, but please understand that you can do anything and also be spiritually helping others and yourself. Your innate psychic abilities will only make what you choose to do that much better.
Yeah, I mean, I believe everyone's a medium, so a lot of people I feel like think, oh, I have mediumship ability, so I'm supposed to do this. Well, I think everyone can talk to spirit, so it's your choice if you want to do it. It's just like you might be naturally gifted at singing, but you can also learn to be a good singer. It's just what you want to do.
I just thought that was a good response to a question because, again, not just my brain, souls and spirits have stepped forward to explain these things for me. So, last question. I was raised under a certain religion, but I want to learn more about spirituality. Would God or my gods be mad at me if I did? Do I have to refute all aspects of my current or past religion in order to pursue spirituality?
No,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't really matter because spirituality isn't like rule based.
Mm-mm.
So your other religions might be rule based, but you can still have aspects of both.
Exactly.
Spirituality just absorbs other religions.
So I wrote, as for being raised under a certain religion and wanting to learn and accept more spiritual ideas, you most definitely can do that. Spirituality is not a single or set religion, in my opinion, and being a spiritualist means you have freedom to choose what religions and aspects of those religions resonate with you and use them to create your own fundamental ideas from that. I don't know. After starting metapsychics, I've had so many people tell me like, I have religious trauma and I don't even want to be Catholic, Christian, Lutheran, whatever it is that they were at all. And they feel that in order to move on with spirituality, they have to lose every aspect of their past religions. And I feel like that can be very hard for people because I don't know, just because you don't agree with portions of your religion or someone made you feel a certain way about it doesn't mean that you have to completely turn your back on that religion, because that is what spirituality is. You can take ideas and aspects from not just your past or current religion, but a lot of other ones and throw away the rest that you don't think fit with your idea of spirituality. And I also had another person ask me, I don't remember if they were Muslim, but they asked me if their gods or deities or God would be mad at them if they'd learned about spirituality. And I was like, listen, I can't really answer that. But they ended up having this other spiritual being step forward and basically tell them no. And I think they were related to their religion, which I thought was interesting. I don't remember the specifics of it because it was a very long time ago, but I thought it was cool for that to happen.
Yeah, with religious teachings, the ones that are from human beings or like influenced by human beings are the ones that separate us. So when someone says you can only have one God, you can only do these things, otherwise you are sinning, otherwise we're going to shun you, otherwise you won't be accepted into the religion, those aspects are added by human beings, not by spirit, because spirit does not exclude people.
Did you like our questions and our answers to the email reading things that have been on my mind lately? I hope you did. If not, don't tell me because I might cry. But while you wait for next Sunday's episode to come out, you should go check out the YouTube channel. If you're not already on MetaPsychics Extra, but you should go on over to MetaPsychics and check out the videos that we have going out. We got some cool ghost hunting reaction videos and other spiritual spankings, if that's what you're into.
No.
And if you too are interested in having your own 3 or 5 question medium email reading, feel free to check out the link in the bio or the show notes below. See if that's something you want to do. We'll see you in the next episode. We are your PsycKicks.